Okay, hang on. None of this lighting is appropriate, I fear. Let me just... What if I just put you on the floor? What if I just do this? And we just hang out down here on my TBR cart. What if we do that? Oh my god. She's a genius. Oh dear. Maybe not. Hey, what's up? I'm Allie and welcome back to my channel. Today's vlog is a bit of a mess. I'm apparently really rusty with the vlogging. It also took me like 2 months to film. Anyway, but it is going to be based around reading my booktube besties' favorite books. This vlog is based all around Starzy, and if you don't know who Starzy isn't just my booktube bestie. Starzy is one of my very good friends, and I just love her so much, and she just does not get enough love. So Starzy is a booktuber here. She is also a streamer. I will have all of her links listed down below because she just deserves all the love. Just love her so much. She my best friend. She a real bad bitch. Anyway, given that we are best friends, we also have a lot in common. We play a lot of the same video games and are constantly raving kind of about the same general topics all the time. So naturally, we should probably like the same books. Now, Starzy already did this where she read some of my favorite books, so please go give that video some love. She was much smarter than I, in that most of the books that she read are some of the smaller books. I decided apparently to read some of the biggest books that Starzy has ever enjoyed. So that leads us to the actual books that I plan on reading. Now, I made all these graphics way before I did this video, so I have to explain something here really quickly. Basically, the books that I'm going to be reading are Bunny, which is like a dark academia, I've been told. So, well, she's been yelling at me to read Bunny for the past over a year now, so I was like, that one's gonna be here, it's gonna happen. I have Kings of the Wild also. Now, here's the thing, I'm not actually going to be reading Kings of the Wild in this vlog. Honestly, I just ran out of time, and it's just not something that I feel like I'm going to get to any time soon. But I feel like I had enough other options that we get the general gist. Then we also have The Prison Healer. This is another one that Starzy has been asking me to read, especially just to have someone to talk about it with. We have Burn for Me, which is, it's a paranormal romance, which isn't something that I personally would have ever thought to pick up. So, we'll see how that goes. The River Has Teeth. I know Starzy just really enjoys, I believe, this author overall, and this is a queer fantasy mystery story, so sounds right up my alley. And then we have The Wolf of Oren-Yaro, which I believe was one of Starzy's favorite books from last year. She read it in like the very last days of the last year and really enjoyed it. So I decided since that was a newer fave, I should add that to the list as well. Now, these are all pretty thick books, so, like, I don't know why I thought this was going to happen in a week, and then it took 2 months, and here we are. Anyway, I also should probably clarify that I'm missing some clips, apparently. I know that I talked about these books at multiple times, but I can't find the video footage. I mean, it might be because I own 10 memory cards. I've checked them all. I don't know where they have gone to, so you might see me again just to kind of discuss my thoughts and feelings. I am hoping to get more back into vlogging. I have so many vlogs that I'm hoping to prep and plan for in the future. So yeah, anyway, without further ado, let's see how I feel about Starzy's. trying to get into the habit of like feeling less dead inside. So I've been like trying to actually put on makeup and stuff, but good morning, crusty crew. That's how I'm feeling. Feeling like crusty this morning. Hello. I slept for a really long time last night, which is probably good because I don't sleep during the week, like ever. So, you know, I guess just once a week I just sleep. But welcome to the vlog. I tried to start this before and I ended up not reading anything, so it felt kind of pointless, but I did start reading Burn for Me last night, and I'm really intrigued by the world so far. I don't think I was expecting the world to be so intense. There's like a whole magic system, and there's tiers to magic, and it goes into like the government and like things like that. The girl that we're following has to hunt down like the main, one of the most powerful like mages, and he's very dangerous and is known to just kill people, so she has to hunt him down. That's where I'm at. Like, that she's just been like kind of tasked with that. I'm not very far in. Little under 100 pages, and it's pretty thick. So I have a ton of shit to get done today because mental illness has decided that I couldn't do it at any other time. But I'm feeling pretty invigorated to like actually get shit done today, so I'm gonna run with that feeling. And that's what we're gonna do. Normally, I feel like I don't do shit on Saturdays, but I really want an audiobook. I'm gonna take down all the Christmas decorations and really clean and stuff like that. So the only one that I think I have audio for is The River Has Teeth. And I have that on Scribd, so I think I'm gonna just pop in some headphones and listen to that. And I don't normally like to listen to fantasy on audio, but again, it's like the only one I can find. I wouldn't mind listening to Burn for Me, but I don't think there is one. Okay, I swear, I looked for the audio of this book before and it didn't exist, but I'm looking on Scribd right now, and there it is.
Burn for Me, a hidden legacy novel by Ilona Andrews, performed by Renee Rodman. In 1863, in a world much like our own.
Well, this is exciting news. First, I'm going to just take a moment and enjoy my coffee because I don't do that enough. So I'm just going to take a moment, probably take some deep breaths, and just like reset a little bit. I just listened to what is perhaps the best line ever. I laughed out loud. So these are two characters that are stuck in a like very tight area together. And you know, we're fighting attraction here.
You're not pressed against me? I could, he said, his voice amused. But then you would have to lie on top of me. My brain said, no. My body went, wee. I gave up and lay still.
Wee! Oh, ba-da, oh, wee! Oh, ba-da, wee! That's all I can think of. Oh, God. Okay, do you want to know my thoughts and feelings up to this point? Because I do think I'm over halfway through at this point. Just a little over halfway through, it looks like. And I'm really enjoying this. I don't really know how this really gets categorized as this kind of romance. Like, this to me, ooh, I just lost my place, but this to me screams like, I don't know, like there's gonna be sex all the time. And there's been nothing. Like, we don't even have like full-on chemistry there yet. Like, we're working towards it, but we're not there yet. Like, we're still kind of flirting around the edge, and we're over halfway through. This has definitely been way more about the action and the magic and the world and, like, trying to hunt down these characters and, like, get shit done. It's been way more action-packed than anything. I'm not even like super concerned about when they are going to sleep together because I'm too busy worrying about literally every other aspect of this story. Why does it look like this? Why does it have this? Maybe it's because I don't read a lot of, I don't, like, what would this be called? Like paperback romance type stuff. Like, I don't read a lot of books that look like this. So are they normally like this? Are they normally like mostly action? Because like Sarah J. Maas's books should have a cover more like this compared to this story. Like, this has been like full plot so far. And I feel like we just get more and more into it. Okay, anyway. Very interesting so far. I feel like this cover is not doing this poor book justice. Critiquing things to note. We just got through a part that was like talking about some of the kind of like the slums of this area, and of course everyone is like addicted to something, and it doesn't portray them in the best light. It's kind of stereotypical like tweakers type situation. I don't know how else to say that. That sounds bad. So just like a fair warning going into that, like that's very cliche of it. So, you know, there's my critique of that.
Good morning. Hi. Why are you purring? Good morning, buddy.
Time for an update on Burn For Me. I will say this cover does not do this book justice. Because, one, it looks like a romance, but I feel like anyone who would read this looking for a romance is going to be disappointed because, like, no one even gets naked. There's, like, one scene where there's some tension happening and some things happening, and that's it, and it doesn't even happen until, like, near the end. So if you're going into this thinking that it's going to be some sort of, like, grand romance, you're going to be disappointed, but that's what it looks like. Like, there's going to be a lot of hot and sexy scenes, and no. And the thing is that this is just full-blown, like, urban fantasy, and this doesn't look like that to me. So, like, I feel like you're alienating your prime readers. Like, they're just gonna think that this is another romance. So, whoever did this, like, marketing, cover marketing type thing, I think it needs redone. You know, because I just feel like you could do better. You could. So, there's that. I am giving this a 4 stars. The pacing was really great. It was really quick paced. It wasn't a super overly complicated type of magic system. Like, it's pretty straightforward. There are a few like different things you have to learn about the history of things, and they're kind of like mixed in. It's not like info dumpy. For the most part, I didn't mind the characters. I like our main character. I'm not like super sold on the love interest, very like alpha male-esque and kind of like, you're gonna want me. I don't know about all that. But, so, he's not like my favorite love interest of all time, but I don't mind him as a character. I like learning about this battle type thing that's going on and trying to get to the deeper meaning of like what's actually happening. So, I would think that this is a good pick. I don't ever think I would have picked this up myself, and I really enjoyed it. I would consider continuing this series, especially just because like it was just so action-packed and there was just a lot of characters that I enjoyed reading about. So I am giving this a 4 stars. Good shit. The Wolf of Oren-Yaro, I think that's the title, which is a much more, I think, higher fantasy, and I did read about 100 pages of it. I'm not super invested. We just now got to a part that's like semi-exciting. Like, it's been a lot of build-up and a lot of like traveling, and I will say there's like parts where the author is just like, hey, we traveled, that's all you need to know, which I appreciate, but then we just spent so much time and detail and a bunch of other things, and it's taken me a long time to grasp like the politics of this world, especially because we don't even know the politics of the one world well enough from the one like empire well enough, and then we go to another one and it's totally different. So keeping all that straight is a little difficult. There's a lot of like big words that confuse me that are just like part of the world and not just like general words. So I'm having a hard time with that. The characters aren't like super exciting yet. However, we just get into an exciting scene and there is more banter happening that I'm enjoying. So I am a little more intrigued now, but getting to that 100-page mark was a bit of a struggle. Welcome to the weekend. I have a long weekend this weekend. It's also gonna snow apparently, like really bad this weekend, but it's plant care day. So we're gonna come along with me as I just water plants. I do have to repot some. And then I also just bought this new bad boy. Look at these leaves. Just for like size reference. Look at these leaves. It says she only likes morning light. We're gonna see. We're gonna see about that. So, anyway, come along with me. Come along with me while I water my plants. Excuse my heater. It's cold out here. I'm gonna be doing some repotting. This one, I water it all the time, but I honestly think that it has just outgrown its pot. It just needs more so that it has more soil and it's not drying out constantly. And the leaves kept turning yellow. I again felt like I was watering it all the time. And I was like, oh, I wonder if it too outgrew its pot. And sure enough, it did. So you can see what I'm doing. And then we're just gonna plop that in, fill in the dirt there with some new dirt. Push that in. Looking cute today, oh my god. So it's a snowy day out. I thought I would just sit around and read this morning for a little bit. I'm about a little under halfway through with The Wolf of Oren-Yaro, and I'm not even gonna lie, this is a bit of a struggle. it's been a struggle so far. The first 100 pages, I was like, I don't really understand the politics of this world. Don't really know what's happening here. I just am a lot confused about some of those things. And then it's like, we'll get some history snippets here and there, and they just like, sometimes I feel a little contradictory, so I'm not really sure. We are getting like snippets in the past of her growing up. Like basically she was born for this throne. She was put into this arranged marriage. Her husband disappeared when they were supposed to be crowned, and he's been gone for 5 years. Now he is reaching out about meeting with her, and part of her is like, doesn't want to do it because obviously he abandoned her and her child in the throne, but at the same time she still like loves him and is interested and wants to bring him back to be a family. But they go to like this other empire type thing, and it is nothing like hers. She doesn't fit in. No one believes her. There is just all this chaos happening, and you would think for as many events that happen, like there's a brothel house, there's some thievery happening, there is assassination type stuff, like you would think it would be a more exciting, but like sometimes I'm just searching for things in the back to like make me keep going, because the parts that are exciting, but then I just feel like so much in between that's like looking back on their history and like things like that, and I just am like, let's get into the good shit, please. Let's get back to the good stuff. So it's also weird because I feel like the women are treated pretty shitty, but then like she'll make up a lie about like being treated crappy by another man, and like the guy that she's talking to will be like enraged, but I'm just like, none of you seem to be treating anyone all that great. So I'm very confused. I don't know. I also like, even though the characters have a little bit of, not really even banter. At first I thought it was banter. There's a little bit of banter, a little bit of sarcasm, but honestly, like everything else that the characters say kind of feel flat. Like I don't know, the delivery just seems so flat to me at times. So I don't know if it's just because when they talk, it's so little. Like they barely say anything to each other all the time. And when they do, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't fit the personalities that have been, I don't know. It sounds like I'm hating this. I'm not. Like, I am intrigued by it. The parts that are like exciting are exciting. Like those parts are what are keeping me through this. I just feel like it's just bogged down with so much other stuff, and maybe it is because it's the first in a series and it's like building up this world and whatnot, but I don't know, I just feel like some of the details are just a little too much at times. They're overcomplicated for what it needs to be, and I don't know, maybe I'm just not getting it. But after the first like 150 pages, we are getting into a little bit more of the excitement. But dear God, it just feels like it's taking so long to do, like, really accomplish anything currently. I don't know. I just don't think it's quite what I was expecting from a series that is the Chronicles of the Bitch Queen. I just was, you know, expecting a little bit more, I don't know, action and gruesomeness and murdering. But no. We're not getting it. I might take a break from this. I did start The River Has Teeth as well on audio, and I am enjoying it so far. I don't really know just how far I am, but I'm enjoying it so far. It's interesting. I had a finished thoughts and feelings about The Wolf of Oren-Yaro, but it's the one where the footage, I don't know where it went. I may have deleted it in the midst of doing a bunch of other things, but basically the thoughts that I had at the beginning of the book just kind of stayed throughout the book. It just was a little over the top. I felt like the characters were pretty inconsistent a lot of the time, like the way that they were portrayed and then their actual actions just didn't really line up in my opinion. It was also kind of like really boring for being like an adventure fantasy, and there is like murder and mayhem happening, but it just like didn't really do anything for me personally. Now, I know Starzy loves political-based fantasies, so I get why she enjoys this one, because that is basically all this is. I need more than that. I'm not a big fan of that's pretty much it. I was hoping to have like more budding romance and more side character plots and whatnot. So the fact that this was very true to just kind of sticking to the politics of the world just didn't really work for me. I mean, I got through it. I had to end up switching to audiobook in order to get through it. If I would have been physically reading it still, I think I would have DNF'd it, honestly. I just didn't have the time to commit to it. And I don't know, I just felt like a lot of it was kind of convenient as well, and I personally don't think that I will be continuing on with this one. It's fine, but not anything that I'm like looking forward to. And I did give it a 3 stars. Again, nothing that was like inherently really terrible about it. I just didn't personally enjoy it that much, and honestly, I feel like I've kind of forgotten a good bit. It's been a while since I finished it at this point, but I've forgotten a good bit, and I just don't really care anymore. But I do see why people, because I know so many people love this book, so I do see why some of them do. Now I have to figure out what to do with my copy. Getting absolutely wild today. Just saying. And while I was getting absolutely wild, I finished The River Has Teeth. What else are you gonna do on a Friday night? Come on, puzzles. So I listened to The River Has Teeth. I don't think I ever did a check-in for this, but basically this is kind of takes. Who is racing? Who is street racing outside of my house right now? And why are you parking in front of my house? Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh, this is about, it takes place in kind of like this magical area near like this river, and we follow 2 different girls. One, her sister is missing. So obviously she has a lot of emotions that are running rampant: rage, confusion, fear happening. And then we also follow another girl. Her family has lived here for generations, and they have magic, and the magic comes from the land, and she just really knows her way around the land. This opens up with, we know that the one girl's mom the magic has kind of turned her into a monster, and she locks her mother away, basically. And so we're not too sure if maybe her mom has some part in these missing girls or not. So the 2 characters come together because the one girl comes to her seeking, you know, trying to find a way to find her sister or find out what happened to her sister and all this other stuff. So we do have that. So this is like a murder mystery, but it's got magical elements. And let me tell you, I fucking loved the overall premise of this. I thought it was such a unique way of weaving together like magic and mystery, and it was just so good. I will say I absolutely had a bias when it came to the storytelling that we were getting. Della, who is the family that has magical abilities, I just found her storyline a lot more compelling, to be honest. She's much more stoic, has a lot more responsibility on her, and then the other girl whose sister is missing, I understood and understand her point of view and where it comes from and all this rage that she has. But I did find it a little annoying at times, just the way that she was kind of handling things and was really brash about it. That is very true to the character. Okay, it's not like a flaw in the writing. It is good for the character design. It just isn't one that I enjoyed reading from. That being said, I still really enjoyed it. I feel like I'm just gonna contradict myself this whole fucking review. Dear God. I fucking loved it. I wanted to learn more. I really liked how everything was laid out, and I liked how everything kind of circles back around and whatnot. There were some parts where I had a lot of questions, and I felt like, I don't know, maybe they were supposed to be open-ended and interpreted by the reader, but I do think, being a YA, they probably could have been answered in a little more clear and concise way. And I don't know, I just think that the storytelling was slightly unbalanced in the narration. I also personally felt this has a romance in it, and to me, it didn't feel necessary. I didn't really feel the chemistry between the characters. I could see where the events that they go through can bond them, but it was kind of happening before, and it just felt a little forced at times, so I really honestly could have gone without it. I just noticed that a lot of YA kind of magical mysteries tend to throw this in, and I don't really know why it's needed, especially when it just doesn't really add anything to the story, to be honest. So, I don't know. It's whatever. I'm sure some people don't mind it. It was just a little, I don't know, just a little forced to me. I think I'm going to give it a 4.5. It's still really, really fresh in my mind, and I still really liked it. I also have to give up. I feel like I'm just being very negative, but these are just like the things that stick out in my mind. Because other than that, like, I would just be like, it's great, the writing's great, and the story's great, and I just don't know how else to say it. But the only other thing is that I did guess kind of all the puzzle pieces, so to say, of the story, but honestly, I didn't think that it took away from the story. There's a lot more complexity to the story than just who done did it, so I do think that it is incredibly enjoyable, even if you do guess it. I will say, I don't think a lot of readers would be able to guess it. I think I just kind of know what to look for, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'm giving myself way too much credit. So I just think I'm going to give it a 4.5 if that helps you, know that I'm not being super negative about it, okay? I am going to take a break, think from a little bit from this and read some other stuff and finish off my puzzle. It's taking me a while. I started this 3 hours ago. Oh, it's taking so long. Okay. Hey, hi, hello, what is up? Why am I doing an introduction? I don't know, probably because it's been so long since I've filmed for this vlog. First of all, look at the mug, ribbed for her pleasure, that I designed. I think it turned out really nice, just, I do say so myself. As you can see, it's got all my favorite house colors happening, but I want to check in because I finished Bunny today. I'm also finished with my nails, apparently. I feel like I need a few days to, like, really sit and solidify this. I know people say that they think about this book, like, months after they're reading it, and I get it now. I get it. Definitely for fans of Catherine House, was getting a lot of the similar vibes, but this one's a little more outlandish, and I know that there's several different theories as to what the book has meaning towards. I can absolutely see it as a bit of like a satire about like academia, especially when it comes to like women in literary fields, because they are kind of, their stories are expected to be darker and more complex, and people are always disappointed when it's not as sorrowful as they think a woman's suffering should be. So as someone who has a literature degree, can confirm that there are instances where your creative writing success is based on basically how fucked up your life has been in some way, shape, or form. So it felt a little bit like that. I don't really want to discuss too much of it because I don't want to give anything away. I will say if you plan on reading this, it's definitely not a sit really and read in one sitting kind of thing, because there are parts that you really have to absorb. And the last quarter of it, I was like, first of all, I was walking through the freaking market and I'm like, hold on, let me just stop in the egg aisle and just like take a moment here to like, what is going on? I'm still kind of solidifying my own theories about it, but yeah, I think it's definitely a little bit of a like I don't even know if satire is the right word that I'm looking for here. Just more of a showcasing of that kind of nature in literary academia. And then I think too, it's also a bit about conformity in that I don't want to discuss it too much, but basically how conformity can really take away from your own imagination and being your own person, and how you can forget those very creative parts of yourself whenever you do conform to things. So I could definitely see that being a bit to discuss. I'm really upset that I've missed like some of the initial discussions that have happened around this book. So I will be interested in looking back on some of those that have happened and seeing how other people have looked at this, because I do think I could be swayed in a few different ways, but I am leaning to more towards a certain theory, so we will see. I do know what Starzy's theory is, which is the important thing here, and I don't think that we have the same theory. So I know what she thinks versus what I think. I will say I don't think this was quite a 5-star for me. I think I want to put it at a 4.5. I think there were just times where I wasn't totally sold on what the story was doing. There were times where it was just like, okay, what are we working towards in this moment? So there were just like a few parts where I was just like, I'm not really sure if this fits with the whole like what is happening here, but overall I think it was very thought-provoking and can definitely see myself thinking about this for months to come. I found it really enjoyable. I had a feeling I was going to really enjoy it anyway. I've been kind of putting it off. I think I started reading this over a year ago. I think it was October 2 years ago I originally started Bunny. Especially because I had an arc. So it was actually probably earlier than that, because this was like the only arc that I picked up. This was over 2 years ago. And I originally started reading. Now I did buy a finished copy, again anticipating the fact that I was going to enjoy it. So I'm really glad that I did. Wouldn't mind some more copies of this, if I'm being honest. I think this would actually be a really fun one to go back and reread and write, now that kind of knowing the ending of it. I will say I never knew where the hell it was going. So there were a few times where I had a feeling, but just still wasn't 100% quite sure. As you can't really with those types of books. Okay. On to the next thing. Now I do have 2 more books. I was originally thinking about just not finishing Kings of the Wild, and as soon as I had that thought, someone tweeted about how it was their favorite book of the year on Twitter, and I was like, I'm gonna have to do it, aren't I? The only problem is I'm probably not gonna have this video done, because that's a big book in the time that I want to have it done. Kings of the Wild just yet. I'm gonna wait a little bit and read it at a later date. Definitely plan on reading it this year and within the next few months. I just really want to get this video out, essentially, so I can kind of work on a few other projects. I can't get over how cute my mug is. Look at how cute it is. Look at it. Look at it. Look how freaking cute it is. New day, same terrible angle. I'd have 7 tripods. You think I would just use one? No, that requires too much effort right now, apparently. You can't tell the cover. I do have some issues with this cover, but I am on to the Prison Healer. And I am almost halfway in it. I have been doing some tabby tabs. I do have some complaints because this man does not look 19. This man looks like he's in his 40s. Okay, I have some concerns. Anyway, the main premise is basically that we are in a kingdom. Did you have to do that right now? We are following this girl. Her family, when she was younger, was kind of suspected of being rebel, treason, things like that. So at a very young age, she gets put into this prison system. And this prison system, I have some issues with. I feel like it might draw from historical events, and I feel a little iffy about the whole situation, but it's pretty dark, especially just like the way that the prisoners are handled and the way they come in and how they're treated, and then they're sent off to work in different parts of the prison. But basically, we follow her. She has survived for so long because she has kind of adapted to the different areas that she's put, and she makes herself really useful because she's one of the only healers in the prison, hence the title. But a new person comes in, and he is making it a lot longer than she was ever expecting, and he also has taken quite a great interest in her. There's also talk of possible rebel groups coming in, and there are very mixed feelings about these rebel groups. Some people believe in their cause, and a lot of people don't. It's very mixed. Like, I feel like when I read a lot of YA fantasy, it's like everyone's for the rebel group, but in this case, it seems quite split. I do think I already know some of the plot twists that are going to happen in this. I don't think they're hidden particularly well, but it's not really ruining the enjoyment for me. I actually kind of quite like being like, oh, I know something you don't. I know something that you'll never in. I don't even know the rest of that meme, but yeah. So, I'm having a good time. I don't want to say it's fun because it's basically a death camp. Like, the place that they go is a death camp. And so I don't want to say it's like a fun time. But I'm not taking it too seriously, if you know what I mean. I originally said I thought it sounded a bit like a Sarah J. Maas, like, Throne of Glass retelling type thing, but I'm not really feeling it so much, except I totally forgot, it's been so long since I read the synopsis, that there are trials in this. And so we have gotten to the trial part, and I eat trials up. Anything that's like games or trials or whatever in a book, I eat that shit up. So I am hoping to get a little more than halfway. I want to finish this weekend because I think this is going to be the last book that I end up doing for the vlog. We do have friends coming in from out of town, so we are going to go grab some drinks tonight. So I'm hoping to get a little bit done before that, and then yeah, I'm doing reading sprints tomorrow, and then hopefully going to get this vlog up, and yeah, we'll see how I feel. Right now, I'm thinking this will probably be a 4 stars. I think it's just going to be like an enjoyable read. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy amazing and brand new to me, but we will see. Maybe I'm going to have a lot more fun than anticipated. Also, look at this new sweater. I got this sweater and then realized I have basically the same sweater in red. I have a type and it's animal print everything. I have to wear animal print like every day of the week, apparently. Whether that's realistic or not. Also, this is like kind of my color, I feel. Especially with my hair dark like this. I feel like this is kind of my color. And my last thoughts and feelings are about the Prison Healer. Now, this I did just finish basically a day or 2 ago, and I immediately ordered the sequel because I need to know what's going to happen. Was the writing amazing? No, not necessarily. There was a lot of kind of cliche things happening. If you read a lot of YA fantasy, you're gonna see, I think, a lot of this happening from a mile away. I predicted pretty much everything that was gonna happen, but honestly, I was just there for the ride. And if you're not taking it too seriously and critiquing it super hard, it is a good time. I think it's a really great YA fantasy. It has a good mix of just like, I think, the romantic aspects, but also fun aspects. It has really great lovable characters, and it has those trials which are just interesting. Oh, I eat up anything with trials, so like I just loved those aspects of the story. I will say, There is a part in the middle because there's also a plague that is kind of taking over this prison and we don't know what's causing it. And since she's the healer, she's trying to figure that out while also preparing for these trials. There is a period between like the second trial and the third trial where like 100 and some pages go by. And then between the third and the fourth trial, it's like 2 pages. So there is a little inconsistency with the actual pacing of the book, but I'm interested. Starzy said the second book made her just scream in frustration. So I am intrigued as to how this book could do that. I have some guesses, but we will see. We will see. And I will say there were some parts near the end where I could start to see Sarah J. Maas's influence on the author, on this writer. So, fun. It was just fun, honestly. For being about a death camp. I ended up giving it a 4-star, which I kind of thought it was going to be. Again, I could kind of predict what was going to happen. I gave it a 4 stars. That is the last one in this. And I think it's safe to say, with the lowest rating being a 3-star and pretty much everything else being a 4 to 4.5, I think this is a success. I think that I can safely say that me and my bestie got similar tastes. And that I can probably guarantee that I'm going to like the things that she recommends. And that if you like the things that I recommend, you're probably going to like a lot of what Starzy recommends. It's just interesting that we both picked quite a variety of genres from each other as well and really enjoyed them. So I think it's safe to say that this was a success. We have some other vlogs planned, especially in the next 2 months. If you've watched this video to the end, make sure to leave some sort of pink heart of some sort, just to let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!